Ever thought of the U.S. having 49 states again? What could happen? Today I'm going to explain to you the unique power Texas has to actually succeed from the Union, and how it would work out well for Texas if it was to succeed. This is made possible by the Texas-American Annexation Treaty of 1848. This is because Texas, before becoming the 28th state, it was actually its own country called the Republic of Texas. And you might know its capital is Houston. Well, it's named after its first president, Sam Houston, who led Texas to its independence against Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna at San Jacinto on April 21st, 1836. Santa Anna's army, just after 2 months after defeating the Alamo, which you all know, was at camp, and outnumbered, the Texans raided it, and in over 20 minutes, 1,300 Mexican soldiers were dead, and Santa Anna was captured and was forced to sign the treaty giving Texas the right to be its own republic. And in 1845, Texas sent a proposal to the United States to become part of the United States. It was denied the first time, but after changing it and being in Congress, they were able to work it out and split Texas into 6 states. Okay, don't. Right there. So that's actually the Republic of Texas, everything in the red. Okay. Texas are proud of being Texan, and also proud of being Americans. Since some feel that Democrats have taken over the country and are trying to form some form of socialistic country, forcing liberal views on everyone, Texas might feel like it should split, because it's known as a Republican state by about 65%. So, say at the end of this year, Texas decides to announce that it's going to succeed from the Union, and what do you think is going to happen? So, I'll explain. Texas will keep the same government and constitution America has, and it will make George Bush president of the Republic of Texas. We all know he's not a pretty speaker at all, but we haven't had any more terrorist attacks. The economy was doing fine until the stock market crashed, sadly. Okay, Texas has a terrific chance to fly one soon. It has NASA just south of Houston, so it will control the space industry. It's the second largest producing state for oil, behind Louisiana. Texas actually produces over 1.25 million barrels per day, and it has enough oil to supply the state right now for 250 years to 300 years. And it refines 85% of all the gasoline in continental U.S. So, we have plenty of gas, so the rest of the United States would have to import their gas, oil, or just walk. Texas has about 65% of its defense industry. That's making the weapons and war industry type stuff. So basically, don't mess with Texas or you get your ass kicked. So far, it looks good, bad for the U.S., but good for Texas. Along with that, Texas controls a large amount of the computer industry because Texas actually leads the nation producing computer chips and communication equipment, like the main headquarters for Texas Instruments, Compaq, Dell Computers, EDS, Raytheon, and about 30 or 40 different companies actually are based in Houston, Dallas, and those cities. When it comes to medical care, Texas has the best trauma and burn centers like Galveston Burn Institute and Texas Medical Center, and it's actually the largest in the entire world. And Texas has roughly about 70 different colleges, and probably the best known is Texas A&M and Texas University, but there's also Texas Tech, UNT, University of Houston, University of Dallas, and just a lot more. And Texas also does not have a bunch of unions. So, you know, here, like, if you were living your one day, that bridge, it took a long time to build. In Texas, since there's no unions, it's you're paid by due date, not how long you work. So that's great. In case of foreign invasion, Texas has a strong National Guard, Texas Air National Guard, and several military bases. Although Texas doesn't have its actual own army, it doesn't matter since everyone down here, even old grannies, have at least 6 rifles and a pile of ammo.
Oh, man.
When it comes to food, Texas has a self-sufficient industry in beef, poultry, hogs, and several types of grains, fruits, and vegetables. Of course, don't forget the seafood from the Gulf. And it also controls a great majority of the natural fiber produced in the U.S., so they will always be well dressed. Also, along with the farming, they have the largest producers of wool and mohair, which is actually hair from goat. I'm not exactly sure what they use it for, but it's used a lot, and it's produced 9% there in the rest of the United States. And also, Texas leads the United States in cotton production, which you probably would think would be more eastern, but it's actually Texas, and it's its main cash crop. And Texas has Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, which are actually 3 of the largest 10 cities in the whole United States. And who do you guys, I'm going to ask a question, who do you think is the largest state, contiguous state? Actually, no. It's actually Texas, if you count contiguous. Texas has a great trade center, along with coast. 3 of the largest 10 ports are there. The Port of Houston is the 2nd largest based on tonnage, and then the Port of Beaumont is 4th, and the Port of Corpus Christi is 6th. This is just to name a few points that will keep the Republic of Texas in good shape. Since America will be short on refineries, only a bomb will be able to run its 9-mile-per-hour SUV and fly around the Air Force One. And to finish up with a quote by a famous man from Texas: "Life's tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid." That's by John Wayne. Thank you.
Yeah, that.
So Avery, what did you think?
Pieces was pretty clear. I thought he would do more of the visual aids that he had, but he didn't. But the ones that he did show, I like them. Got a lot of information about Texas that I didn't know before. Now that I know I won't go there. And overall, it was a good speech, and he made good eye contact, so it was good.
All right, well, it actually sounds like it's 2 speeches. The first speech is about whether or not Texas has a right to secede and be its own separate country, and the other is really about what Texas is all about. I think what you could probably do is put those things together in a way that's a little bit more coherent, maybe talking about Texas as the thesis, that you want to introduce us to what would potentially be the Republic of Texas once again, should it choose to secede, and then kind of explain to us that you're really going to be focusing on what the characteristics of Texas are, because the secession thing is it's a very small part of what you're talking about at the beginning. You use it for humorous purposes during the body of the speech, and your focus is mostly on what is going on in Texas, what it's like, those kinds of things. I do think that you run into the problem of just, here's some data about Texas, and then we get a long list of a whole bunch of information about the cities and its agriculture, and it sounds a little bit like one of those reports that the kids did in the 4th or 5th grade that we talked about. Here's the agriculture of Texas, here's the industry of Texas, here's the geography of Texas, here's the history of Texas, and I think that as a consequence, it just doesn't really cohere as a speech. The visuals, I like the Texas flag as your attention device. There's a little bit of humor with Grandma with the guns at the end. I think that people kind of enjoyed that. the visualization of Texas in the historical perspective. Does that mean that they get to take part of Oklahoma and New Mexico with them when they go? Because that's one of the first questions that popped into my head. I'm sure that those folks, although they might appreciate being they're on their own or going with the Texans, they'd prefer to be asked. And like I said, I think it just needed a little bit more coherence. It just seems like it's random information. Now, you've got a funny idea that you can run throughout the presentation, but it doesn't give it a sense of completeness.